Now, this is the final question for the 5,000 subscribers special video we have. From Willow Gibbs. Dear Boichi Sensei, this summer I'm going to spend my time making an entry for the new International Tezuka Award. This will be my first time submitting to a contest. Do you have any tips or advice for creating and writing stories? Particularly shorter stories. I have characters and some fun moments, but I am having trouble creating a good, short plot. Thanks for opening up this channel. It's so much fun, and I'm really loving Dr. Stone. Thank you very much, Willow. Your First Manga Contest. How wonderful. For aspiring manga artists, submitting their work for the first time is an exhilarating challenge and an unforgettable experience. Best of luck to you. I understand how you're feeling right now. You're nervous, apprehensive, and excited, with positive and negative thoughts coming and going. But I hope you'd better not get too excited. The important thing is not to get too excited. Why? As I mentioned before, the purpose of entering a manga contest is to attempt and potentially experience failure, not solely to win. I know you want to win the contest, but unfortunately, you will have experiences of failing. Keep trying hard until the day you win the prize. And someday you will be awarded. Failure, setbacks, and more failure. However, until then, your endeavor in the contest will be about failing, and failing again. This is normal, so don't worry. The point is what you learn and gain from that failure. So when you first submit to a manga contest, it's good to prepare yourself with the mindset of, yeah, I won't win the contest. Statistically, failing is highly probable. So don't worry about whether you'll win or not. If there's a 1 of 100 chance, which probability would you prefer? 1% win the prize or 99% fail? If I were you, I'd bet on the 99%. But why do so many people bet on the 1% chance in the contest? Betting on 99% and consider learning and gaining something from that big failure. Then one day, you will obtain something very precious. In that case, you might become not just the top 1%, but even the top 0.1%. You know, I am the first foreign mangaka in Shonen Jump, right? As a foreign mangaka myself, when I first started serializing in Shonen Jump, what were the odds I had? Well, it's not 0%. There is a possibility, even if it is small. But if I were you, I'd bet on the 99% probability rather than the 1%. So, bet on the 99% of failure, especially when you are challenging the manga contests, and learn something from that 99% of failure. So, try not to get too excited and focus on your work and gaining experience. Approach the challenge with a mindset of learning and accumulating experience. I don't know much about the Tezuka Manga Contest, but you should have a good understanding of the purpose and trends of manga contests. Usually, Japanese manga publishers and manga contests have two main purposes. They are like, the first one is to find masterpieces, and the other is to find ongoing titles. If you want to create a masterpiece, to award the grand prize. As a one-shot, the completeness of the piece must be great. But if you are aiming to create an ongoing title, or the purpose of the contest is to find a new series, you have to submit your work as a prototype for a series. It should serve as a pilot episode or preview to introduce the overall content of the series work. Whichever you choose, it's up to you to take on the challenge. So what makes a work highly complete as a short story? When readers finish your one-shot and they are curious about what happens next. But the story must end there. The story has to be fully concluded within the story. Only the readers should be curious, and they want the story to continue. but the author must finish the story completely. However, if your submitted work is a preview for a serialized work, you should keep in mind that the next story will continue from there. It's both the same 24 to 32 pages short piece, but there's such a difference. Most of my short stories conclude within the story itself. I didn't write the story with serialization in mind. I concluded the story within the confines of a one-shot. If you want to learn how to write a story, well, there are many ways to learn. But I highly recommend reading and studying the works of the greatest SF writer, Isaac Asimov. He talked about writing short stories. I remember reading a Korean column about him related to that, so this is not the exact English quote that he said, but to paraphrase it would be like this. A short story is an arrow that flies toward the theme. Isn't that such an amazing phrase? So, create a compelling arrow that flies toward the theme you want to convey to the readers. And all creations reflect the author's thoughts. The depth of thought may vary depending on the work. But a short story should capture the essence of the author's spirit. What story can you tell people? What do you want to tell them? What message do you want to convey to the world? You start with these concerns and you try to encapsulate them. The human mind, spirit, and ideas are all beautiful. If you like something, you want to do it. And you don't want to do the thing that if that is a horrible thing. Believe that if you express your heart sincerely, then your beautiful masterpiece will surely come out. Because you possess a beautiful mind and spirit. Create your arrow. And aim it toward the theme. Okay. That's all for this 5,000 special question and answer time. Thank you very much to all of you for sharing your wonderful questions. I also had a really enjoyable moment. And I hope my answers may offer you some assistance. And for all the people from various countries, I understand that the journey to creating manga is quite challenging. So while I'm on YouTube, I will be here to help you. Let's have another time like this soon. Thank you so much. See you next time.